The 2020 UEFA Super Cup is going to be Juventus over Arsenal over at the Estadio do Dragão in Porto, Portugal. Cristiano Ronaldo is Portuguese himself. He is from Portugal. He is going to head back home. He is going to win his second UEFA trophy with Juventus, because the first one would be the Champions League final over at Istanbul, Turkey. For anyone predicting Barcelona this year, it is over. It is Juventus for the taking in 2019-2020. Barcelona is winning the 2021 final, mate. That is what's happening with Ronaldo. And for Barcelona in the Catalans, they are going to beat Arsenal in the 2020 UEFA Super Cup. Arsenal are going to finish 5th. They won't make it to the top 4. Manchester United are going to finish 3rd this year, and Spurs in 4th. Arsenal are going to win the Europa. They're improving in the competition every year. Semi-final, losing the final, and then they go a step up again this year. They are going to win this UEFA Super Cup. This would be the 45th edition of the UEFA Super Cup. It is Cristiano that's going to win the 45th edition of the UEFA Super Cup back home at Portugal. It is Cristiano that has a gematria of 45. Likewise, Ronaldo's 34 this year before he wins the UEFA Champions League. Cristiano Ronaldo has won a total of 29 trophies in his career before squaring off against, before Mauricio Sarri becomes his new manager. It is Sarri that has gematria of 29 and 65. He is going to win the 65th edition of the Champions League with Juventus. Mauricio Sarri wins his first trophy in 29 years of coaching with Chelsea. A year after he wins Europa, his first year with Juventus, he is going to win the Champions League. He is going to beat Arsenal again in the Super Cup. It's Sarri that equals 65. It is Arsenal Football Club that equals 65. He is going to beat the Gunners again. And now this game at Portugal is significant. It's because Portugal equals 38, and then the game itself, Arsenal Juve equals 38 in gematria. Wojciech Szczesny, Arsenal keeper 2009 to 2017. Buffon's successor, 132 appearances with Arsenal. It is the Juventus slogan, Fino alla fine, or rather, it is Juventus itself that equals 132. I'm going to go out on a limb and predict Szczesny to get hurt and that Buffon is playing this year in the Champions League for Juventus. Notice the matchup itself and what would occur after the final at Turkey. Juventus versus Arsenal, Istanbul, Turkey, Forza Juventus. We've got the script here. It is Cristiano Ronaldo that's going to face off against Arsenal at 35 years of age, and he's going to beat them in the UEFA Super Cup. It's Gunners that equals 35 and 98. It is Istanbul that equals 98. That is going to be your UEFA Super Cup in 2020. Juventus over Arsenal in the 2020 UEFA Super Cup. Sarri beats Arsenal again in the UEFA competition. Cristiano Ronaldo heads back home to Porto. Or rather, he heads back home to Portugal to win another UEFA trophy. He won a Champions League final over at Lisbon, his first Champions League title with Real Madrid. He heads back home to Portugal to win the UEFA Super Cup. He makes himself welcome back home. Gianluigi Buffon, his last Champions League final appearance. It all began in the knockouts against Porto back in 2017. Now, it is Juventus that equals 84 in reverse ordinal, and it is Porto that equals 84. It is Porto that equals 30 in gematria. It is manager of Arsenal, Unai Emery. Emery equals 30. The Europa King, Unai Emery. And what's going to happen this year with Arsenal in the Europa and finishing outside the top four? Because, let's face it, there is no defense there. Unai Emery's first Europa League trophy occurred, believe it or not, over at a particular location. 2013-2014 Europa, the final was won by Unai Emery's Sevilla over against a Portuguese team, Benfica, over at Juventus Stadium in Turin. He will win the Europa League again with Arsenal, and he is going to be heading off to Portugal to play in the UEFA Super Cup against a team from Juventus Stadium. This is all a certainty at this point.